That's promising. And so those are the guys that NFL teams are all over because you can continue to develop those type of guys. And then there are good people to go along with that. I mean, that's a no-brainer for us.
What characteristics do the guys that you're looking for need to possess, even from the physical to the off-the-field stuff?
Yeah, we're not really. I mean, I don't want to say that the guys need to have a specific characteristic, but physicality for me is a non-negotiable. I want physical football players because if you got physical football players and guys that play with tremendous effort, I believe I can coach you to do the things we need to be able to do on the football field. And so we have to have guys that are willing to be physical and that are willing to put in the effort. And I think we can coach those guys to be really good football players and develop them. I've coached one of the quote-unquote smallest guys, ever, to play the position. And then you talk about dominated from a physicality standpoint, dominated because of the effort, and then just was very coachable. And then you're looking at, a first ballot Hall of Famer. And so, you got guys like that have those things, that willing to be coached, man. I believe you can get everybody better.
Cash Jacobson was one of the guys that potentially had a chance to play for you this year as a freshman. Where does somebody like him stand after 14, 15 practices that you guys had here this spring?
Cash had a tremendous spring. You saw a guy like Cash really start to turn the corner towards the latter parts of spring. I think it was really more so those with all of the young guys, just understanding what's required every day of them. As freshmen, the work ethic that goes into to becoming the player that they want to become. And then also just understanding the game, growing and learning the game. And I saw Cash take strides in that area. And you talk about a guy that has size, that has really good movement skills, just learning how to play with his length consistently. I think you're going to see a guy that's going to turn a corner and be a big-time football player.
I think before I got here, you were talking about Jakeem.
Yeah.
Okay. But Floyd was a guy that got mentioned in literally every practice by somebody. Can you just talk about what you saw from him too?
He is a special football player. He has elite feet, and you don't use the word elite unless it's real, that's big time. And people don't understand how important that is because a guy like Aaron Donald has elite feet. When you have that elite feet and then he has the physicality that goes into becoming a really good interior defensive lineman. He has natural pass rush ability. Floyd's going to be a big-time football player, and he's going to play on Sundays. I'm just telling you. And so that is exactly who he is. We just got to get him going from understanding of the game. He's a young guy coming from high school. The terminology, learning those things. And when we talk about the pre-snap indicators and understanding how you're going to get blocked before the ball is snapped, that's how our guys are going to play fast. And that's how they've learned. That's how they've been learning. And, we're not going to shortchange how we teach that to these guys. They have to be able to come along, but we're going to put in the work. We've got so many guys between myself, Coach Newell, and Coach Skylar Jones. We're pouring into them, and they're bought into it. And that's all you can ask. And I'm extremely pleased with Floyd as well as the rest of the freshmen.
Yeah.
When you're out there recruiting, I know you're looking for the physical skills and attributes. But how much does adversity and hardship come into the equation?
It comes into the equation a lot because sometimes it tells you if a guy is going to tuck his tail and give in to the adversity, and that may not be a guy that has the mental strength that you're looking for because football is hard. But then you see guys that persevere through those situations. Those are the guys that tend to, maximize themselves and get the most out of the situation that's been handed to them. And sometimes there's when you have that and guys are really good football players or have the potential to be something special, those are the guys that you really kind of gravitate to because, we've seen those stories before. When things are tough, those guys persevere. And you can have that on your team and it tends to spread throughout the team, and that's the cancer that you want, unfortunately.
Keyshawn said that he just felt a real kinship with you and a lot of similarity in background in the recruiting process. What was that like, kind of getting to know him and relating to him?
It was special. It was special. It was genuine. It was very emotional at the same time. And sometimes you can't hide those things. Sometimes you can't fake that. And so it's not called recruiting when it hit like that. You know, it just becomes one of those deals where it was kind of meant to happen. You know, I felt like it was a situation where, you know, God just put us in a place where we both met. And, you know, he happened to be a guy that we really, really wanted in the portal, and who's a good football player, but then we shared a similar story. And at that point, it was like, you know, it's a no-brainer. You know, and so, I mean, he has been special for us. Unfortunately, he wasn't always available throughout the course of spring, but was there from a mental standpoint. He's very, very intelligent when it comes to his football IQ. The guy knows the entire playbook. He's very mature in terms of the way he handles his business. He's been a leader in that room. Guys respect him. He has a body of work that's been on full display. And he's gotten better with the individual drills that he's been able to do. You saw improvement in those areas. Man, I can't wait to get him on the field because I know he's going to be special. And he's going to be special for the group.
Gus Cordova's obviously not here yet, but he's another guy that is thought to potentially be a playmaker for you as a freshman. What does he bring to your room?
Gus is going to bring a tremendous skill set to us in terms of his versatility. You know, his ability to rush off the edge, the physicality that he's going to play with. You know, his football IQ. Again, you know, Gus is a smart football player. You know, can't wait to get him out here and see how he responds to what we're doing. But in terms of the guy that has the work ethic that we look for, you know, he's constantly grinding, sending workout videos and doing all of those things to prepare mentally. He's on top of it. He's been a pro about it. He comes from a great family that has a lot of love and support for him. And so we're excited about Gus. Can't wait to get him here and just looking forward to coaching him.
Overall, how do you feel like you transformed that unit the last year in terms of depth, in terms of size, just from what you walked into to where it's at now and where it's going with this incoming recruiting class?
It is absolutely night and day, and it's exactly, you know, what we wanted to do. That was the goal from day one. And I took the job here, and I was super blessed to get this job, you know, working with Coach Noor and Coach Jones. You know, that has been phenomenal. We knew we wanted to improve the size. We wanted to improve our athleticism. We wanted to create the versatility amongst the group. And we have it all now. You know, now it's about going out there and putting it on full display and, you know, and hopefully staying healthy because we know how key that is to go down the stretch, keeping guys together, you know. And I think when you have a pretty defined culture like we have, and you have the guys know that there's a genuine love and appreciation for what they bring to the table, that's what keep your team together. That's what we have. And so I don't really worry about, you know, those type of things. I think we're gonna have a group that's gonna be unified, and they come to work every day, man. And so it's really fun coaching these guys.
You talked about it being emotional with Keyshawn.
Yeah.
What was the basis of that being emotional?
Just having, you know, similar stories in terms of, you know, I lost my mom when I was young and 9 years old, and he lost his mom and didn't really have a father figure in my life, and, you know, same with him. And so we both had people that were blessed to be around us and sort of help fulfill those missing pieces, if you will. But you know, it was just similar, man. It was similar. It was genuine, and it was just, we gravitated to each other. And so I felt him and felt his heart and spirit. I knew he wanted to be great. I knew he wanted to be Coach Hard, and it was really a no-brainer, you know. And when he finished his visits, but we knew from day one when we connected here on the visit that he was going to be here, and he let me know that, and he kept his word. He was a man about it and very mature about the way he go about his business, and you got to respect guys like that.
Can you just run us through the evaluation process that you go through, with guys that you're recruiting? Is it any different for the guys like a Cash Jacobson who's not highly ranked and a Jakeem Stewart?
Yeah. I don't want to give away, my secrets or our secrets in terms of how we go about evaluating guys, but
Is it lengthy though? Yeah.
Sort of lengthy. But I will say, we like guys that have that big body type guys that got really good movement skills, that are physical, again, that you can see the physicality, even if it's not always clean. We understand our job as coaches is to be able to clean up the technique, so we don't just shy away from guys that are extremely raw or raw in a sense, but as long as you have certain qualities that are important to us, it doesn't matter what star you are. In my career and most of all of these coaches, we've been around players or situations where, there were guys that didn't have any stars, and there's probably more of those guys in the NFL right now than guys that, that were highly ranked guys. And so it's really not about that. So when you can understand and having that experience of, diving into guys and drafting guys on the NFL level, I think that gives us an advantage on how we go about recruiting. And so that's why I don't really want to dive into that, because that's an advantage for us.
Keyshawn talked too about the connection that you guys had and how important that was. I wonder, when you were younger, when you were in Keyshawn's shoes, did you have a coach that kind of filled that similar role?
Yes, I had a coach. I had a high school counselor. I had my aunties. I was super fortunate to have people that poured real genuine love into me. And so that's why I see it as my job to be able to do the exact same thing. It just comes in the form of a coach. And so when I get those opportunities to connect with young people like that, I run to those opportunities. I gravitate to that because, that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm back in college, because you get more of those opportunities with guys who are younger and who may need it more at such pivotal times in their lives, that you can truly be a factor. And so for me, it's bigger than football, and you get a chance to show that.
I'm sure you know how that has shaped you, but I wonder, knowing Keyshawn now, how can you tell how growing up the way that going through losing his mom at such a young age has kind of shaped him?
It's shaped him from a maturity standpoint. He responds to things the way that I used to. Like, I see a lot of myself in him. I see a lot of, how he's a guy that's not gonna, just open to anyone. He's not gonna, just, talk to everybody. You have to earn his trust. And when you earn his trust, he's going to run through a brick wall for you. And so I understand that, and that trust has been earned, and it's still being earned on both ways, with me trusting him and him trusting myself and the rest of the coaches. And he's been doing a fantastic job. When you see guys are happy around here, the way our guys walk around, they're excited, they're always in your office, those are signs of guys being happy. Those are signs of guys, they trust you, they've earned their trust. And as a coach, you can appreciate that, because you're doing things the right way. And so that means a lot.
You mentioned the people who poured into you when you were younger. How did they pour into you? Did you feel like
just love, man. Love, great advice, wrapping their arms around you, being there for you when there's questions that need to be answered. Always, available to communicate with you, pointing you in the right direction, making sure that you're walking the right line, checking up on you. All of those ways that a family would show love to your loved ones is the way that's revealed. And so it's been awesome.
It's clearly been a different recruiting cycle across the board for this program.
Yep.
How have you seen Chad Rose in that department truly make a difference and transform things?
Oh, he's a dog. He's a dog in his approach, and he got that dog work mentality about him. And he loves his job. And when you got guys that has that dog work mentality, they love their job, they're genuine, he's going to be who he is. And so people understand that, people can feel that. And so, it's been awesome. He's got some really cool and creative ideas and a lot of experience from the different places that he's been. And so it's been great to have Chad around here. And so, it's been really, really cool.
You guys have obviously the entire summer for you guys to develop and then fall camp, but in what ways are you confident that the defense in 2025 will be stronger than it was in 2024?
Well, anytime you're going into a second or third year within a scheme and you're able to do more because you got a good deal of guys coming back, you got some guys, you got you know who your leaders are now, guys are more comfortable with the scheme. It's easier for the young guys to pick up on the defenses because players start to coach, and when your players are coaching players, then you're doing, the team starts to transform. And so our players are coaching players. And so when those things start to reveal itself, it makes you know what to expect. You can expect a much better team, a team that's going to communicate effectively. And that's a big part of what we do around here from a communication standpoint. Right? And then you have guys that can live out the examples of how it's supposed to be done because they've been a part of that. They know the expectation. And again, physicality is never going to be on the back burner. That is at the forefront of everything that we do. Right? When you talk about the techniques, the base fundamentals, and guys being able to live that out, it starts to run itself at that point.
Are there some guys you can name that are kind of leading the way with the coaching part and the
Devin Tompkins, Kobe Pepe, D. Nick has been tremendous. Kamari on the back end, Desmond and EG has been phenomenal. All of the guys that have played in the system last year are leaders in their own right or in their own position groups. And so it's been phenomenal. Even Jade, just Jade's confidence over a year. Cam Fountain, big old change in Cam. Cam is a leader for us now. The way he communicates, it's been night and day to see the growth of Cam Fountain. I am so proud of that kid. The way he comes to work every day, the energy, the enthusiasm, his above the neck, his football IQ has improved so much over a year's time to the point where, this guy's going to have a breakout year. We got some players. And when you can feel confident like that as a coach, to know, that you got guys, it feels good.
What do you see physically with Cam that makes you think he's ready to truly break out?
Oh man, Cam's spring has been mind-blowing. It's been absolutely a thing of beauty. His versatility, his confidence, the physicality that he's played with, his availability, his football IQ. He's got arrows going up in every category. Same thing with Devin. Same thing with Desmond. Jaden Walker. I'm talking about guys that are not even. I don't even coach that. It's been awesome to see, man. It really has been. So.
With Jakeem, how do you manage the expectations for a guy that comes in with that kind of profile? Everyone thinks it's going to happen right away for him.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?